Hi everyone, and welcome back to my vlog. So today we are back to doing how-to vlogs. You know, we'll go on another vlogging adventure soon, I promise. But for now, I thought I'd answer a fan question from Mario. So Mario has a channel called Leathersmith and also another one called Trollenso. And he asked me how he can do his chapter reviews in a segment he calls The Land of Stories. So I thought that I would help you guys out today by showing you how to make a good book review, and this also works for movie reviews, or if you're just going to review something chapter by chapter or television shows week by week, then this works perfectly. So Mario is actually going to be reviewing Grimm's fairy tales. Now here's my collection of a fairy tale anthology that I had from college. And what's great about the Grimm's fairy tales that you could definitely use to your advantage is that fairy tales, the old ones, the original ones, they're really dark. People get murdered. I think someone even gets dismembered in one of these. So like, I don't know how kids back in the day dealt with that, or if they just weren't scared as easily. But use that to your advantage. You know, there's definitely a lot of action and there's definitely a lot of depth to these original ones. They're not like Disney movies at all. So one thing about reading and books and also movies is that it's all subjective. What you get from the show, the book, the movie, what you get from the characters and from the storyline is going to be something completely different than the person sitting next to you, and in this case, the people watching you. So whatever really stands out or calls to you the loudest, whatever lesson you get from the story, because these definitely have a lot of fables where there's a moral to the story, you know, if it stands out to you, then talk about it. It's definitely something, because we know what happens in Cinderella. We know what happens in The Little Mermaid, and with the, you know, all the other tales. They're told differently through the Brothers Grimm versus Charles Perrault versus the Hans Christian Andersen, but we want to know what you think. You also want to make it suspenseful and interactive, and you want to bring some of the story to life. So there's a style structure that is called, well, for simpler terms, we'll just call it a V structure. And the V structure is exactly that. First, you introduce the problem, and instead of building up, you're gonna build down. You've gotta find that lowest point of the story, you know, that point where the character's in trouble, or just the worst part of conflict that you think that there's no escape for this character. And this works especially well in fairy tales. And then you build suspense for the end. You have to give a cliffhanger, and then guide your viewers or your readers to figure out the end for themselves, because that's the fun part of reading. You keep turning the pages because there's conflict that needs to be unraveled very, very slowly. So find that lowest point in the story. Find that point that's just like, that point where you're just like, oh my God, I gotta read on. Oh my God, what happens next? That's where you're gonna find it, that's what you're gonna show, and that's where you stop. And then kind of tease the ending a little bit, or just say for more, check out my next video, or you build some sort of cliffhanger and then give them your call to action, whether you want them to keep watching your video or whether you want them to buy your book even, or buy whatever. But that's how that would work. So the top point is the introduction. You kind of introduce the story a little bit. The bottom part of the V is that low point in the story, and then the rest is your cliffhanger and what you want the person to do next. Do you want them to keep reading? Do you want them to subscribe? Whatever. So I hope that helps for now. That'll be your story structure. And I gotta say, I will practice what I preach here by doing some book reviews for you guys. Now, I did get 2 free books on my latest vlogging adventure. One is Delivering Happiness from Tony Hsieh. He wrote this book, CEO of Zappos, and the other is Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last. Now, I kind of shy away from reading nonfiction. I try to consume one nonfiction and one fiction book every single month. One nonfiction for personal development and one fiction to see what's in the market. Now, I don't read nonfiction books, so usually I don't have paperback copies of nonfiction books, and the reason is because they're kind of mediocre. They're written mediocre. They're not written as carefully and as beautifully. They don't have the same care in the words that fiction writers have, because fiction writers know the craft. They know how delicate dialogue is, scenery, setting, characterization. They understand a lot of that, where nonfiction writers are kind of giving you a concept to understand. So that's why I usually just listen to audiobooks. But I will try to get through these later on in the month and do a review on these. And if you guys have a fiction book you'd recommend, leave it in the comments. Hell, I might even read some fairy tales and do a review for you. Let me know what you would like to know in the comments below. Keep creating, and if you have any more questions or anything on what kind of video you need help with, please let me know in the comments below. I'm here to help you guys. So I will see you guys in my next vlog. Bye!